So this last one here, we're gonna again state our domain first. Our domain restriction is going to be x is going to be less than or equal to 10, and x is going to be greater than or equal to -3. So our domain together is going to be between -3 and +10. Okay, so again, this is just the inside restriction. This is not a complete domain restriction because there is still an outside restriction that we're not considering, okay, which is much more complicated. We don't expect to be able to do that. So we're going to isolate one of the square roots. Okay, and then we'll undo the square roots with a square, remembering to FOIL out that. Remember to expand that out correctly. So we end up with 10 minus x, 1 plus, we're going to have 2x plus 3's, and then root x plus 3 times root x plus 3 is just going to give us x plus 3. We'll combine our like terms, so here we're going to subtract 4, so we're going to end up with 6. Subtract an x, so we're going to end up with minus 2x. Okay, so just double check our accounting. -1 minus 3 is -4, so we get 6. Minus x is going to give us -2x. Now, this extra 2 we can get rid of by dividing both sides by 2. That just simplifies the equation and makes it a little bit easier to work with. We'll get rid of the second square root by squaring. Again, it's a binomial, so make sure you expand out that binomial correctly. Okay, it's a quadratic equation. Subtract x from both sides. Subtract 3 from both sides. It is factorable. So we end up with our two solutions, 6 and 1. Okay, so we're going to, again, we can't rely on our inside domain only. So we actually have to test these. Okay, with the double square root equations, we have to test. So x equals 6. We're going to end up with 10 minus 6 minus 6 plus 3 equals 1. 2 minus 3 equals 1. That's not true. That's extraneous. Okay, so that's an extraneous solution. We'll test x equals 1. We end up with square root 9 minus square root 4 equals 1. 3 minus 2 equals 1. Yeah, 1 equals 1. That one is our good solution. Okay, so there it is. And just a reminder, we do expect you to come up with an inside restriction. However, this is an incomplete restriction, so notice that this x equals 6 actually passed this restriction, but because it was only an inside restriction, it's incomplete. We can't rely on that to do check for extraneous solutions on the double square root equations. Okay, that does work when we have both inside and outside restrictions, but not when we only have the inside restriction.